Hey everyone, the Wealthy Marketer here. Welcome to vlog number 16. As always, I'm here to help you earn, invest, and live your best life through digital marketing and becoming an all-in entrepreneur. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the stocks and ETFs that I would research if I was starting out as an investor today. Now, I want to reiterate, I am not a financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. But I do have a strong belief and a strong opinion that each and every one of us, as digital marketers, we need to be actively investing part of our income in the stock market. The sooner that we do this, the better off we're going to be. I wish that I did it sooner. And if you are watching this and you haven't started, it's very important that you go through the motion, learn how to do it, and do it on an ongoing basis. Okay? Very, very important. This is literally one of the only ways that you're going to be able to get ahead in life. You need to be actively investing in the stock market as a part of whatever you're doing to plan for your future. So even if you're saving for a house, or even if you own a home, you also need to be putting a portion of your income into the stock market on a regular basis. Okay? So I'm just going to give you guys kind of like a rundown of the stocks that I would look at, and also some ETFs that I would look at to ensure that you have exposure to the businesses and the markets that are growing today. And again, this is not like, I'm not giving you my stock picks. I'm giving you recommendations. I'm giving you things that you should go and do your own research on. The information is out there, right? Each stock ticker that I'm going to be sharing with you, you can go to Yahoo Finance and you can read up on the company. You can find the annual report and read up on the company. You can access the Morningstar value sheets and their analysis of the company and how they evaluate it, right? And then make a decision based off there. But these are stocks that I think do have potential for long-term growth. And if you look at things from a long-term perspective and you invest from a long-term perspective, any one of these or any series of these could be great stocks to add to your portfolio for the long term. Okay? Each of these stocks and ETFs that I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing them with you based off the things that I consider when picking a stock to invest in. Okay, so the financials need to be strong. The management needs to be solid. Management that you can count on. They're ethical. They're visionaries. They're growth oriented. There needs to be a moat there, so there's some level of competitive advantage over other players in the space. And looking at the company and the products and services that they offer the marketplace, you need to see growth potential. You need to see their products and services getting out there more. And this will in turn drive additional revenue and earnings for the company deep into the future. Okay? So that's what these recommendations, I shouldn't say recommendations, that's what these the stock list is based off. Okay, so I'm going to go through the list with you. I'm going to share a little bit of perspective on each, and hopefully this video at least inspires you to move forward with your investment activity. If that means that, you go out there and you open a Wealthsimple account, or you go out there and open a Questrade account and just go through the process of taking those first steps and doing your first trades, that would make my day. If you're adding to your portfolio, again, you can do the research and vet these stocks for yourself and make an educated decision on whether or not they're a good fit for your investment profile. And third, perhaps you're trading stocks right now, you're building a portfolio, but you're still getting a feel for what to invest in versus not. Hopefully this perspective will help you as well. Okay? So without further ado, I'm going to go through this list. I think I have about 15 with you guys today. So the first one is Apple. So obviously Apple is an amazing company. We all know it. We all love it. The reason why I think Apple has great potential for the future, they have the best phone and computer hardware in the market today, and the most sound technological ecosystem. So many people out there are using Apple products in different ways, shapes, and form. And when you piece it all together, they just work so well together, and they help the individual, especially from a professional standpoint, become more productive. Okay, so I'm a big believer in Apple's product line, from a productivity standpoint and from a consumer standpoint. And there's also going to be a lot of other verticals that Apple is going to be going into in the future. There's talk about healthcare and wearables and autonomous driving and things like this. So there's lots for Apple to pursue as they go into the future. Definitely worth a look. The next I have Facebook. So Facebook, obviously, each and every one of us pretty much uses the Facebook product suite from one day to the next. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on WhatsApp. We're using these platforms regularly. And being a digital marketer and using Facebook's advertising platform for both my own brands and my clients' brands, I see just how powerful the advertising platform is. And I understand that it works, and they're generating a lot of revenue from this platform. And there's still so many advertisers out there in the future that will come onto the platform, and this will continue to drive more and more ad revenue well into the future. So I think that Facebook's as an advertising platform is the second best advertising platform in the market today. And overall, all things considered, they have great potential for growth going into the future. Obviously, you have Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg running the show, amazing management team, and they have a very strong balance sheet with lots of cash, billions upon billions in cash. So all the things that you look at when you assess a stock, everything's there for Facebook. So its potential for growth is going to be there for years to come. Next, we have Microsoft. I just think it's a solid blue chip play. There's so many elements to Microsoft as a company. You have the Office suite, Office in the cloud. You have Xbox. You have Azure, their server that competes with Amazon. They have a very strong footing in the enterprise. They have a search engine, the second biggest search engine in the world. They have obviously their operating system. It's a very dynamic company and a good place to position some of your money. Okay. Next, there's CRM. So this is basically Salesforce.com. They just acquired Slack. It's a very strong enterprise play. They're deeply rooted in the enterprise. It's a very sticky relationships that they have with thousands upon thousands of companies all over the world. And this company is constantly innovating and acquiring more and more players to expand their footing. Definitely something you could research. And if it resonates with you, again, you can make a decision and decide on whether or not you want to invest in it. Disney, obviously, they have one of the strongest, most valuable content libraries that exist in the world. They are pretty much a Netflix with amusement parks and merchandise and toys and all kinds of things. So long term, I see Disney continuing to grow. And again, they have a strong competitive advantage with all that unique content that they own. From the Disney original brands to Marvel, to all the comics and Star Wars. Very dynamic company, very difficult to compete with. Next, we have Lowe's. So obviously, demand for home improvement products is huge, and I think Lowe's is positioned for more growth and more potential when you compare it to Home Depot. Home Depot's got its footing. They're everywhere. They have more stores. It's more of a mature and higher valued stock. Lowe's has the potential to grow more over time. Next, we have QSR. QSR is basically Tim Hortons. It's Tim Hortons, it's Popeyes, and what is the other? And Burger King, all in one. So between those three brands, there's lots of potential to expand the footing and add more locations into their system. And I think Burger King has the potential to turn around as the years go on. I think Tim Hortons has potential to grow, and I think Popeyes is where the really big opportunity is. There's an opportunity to expand more and more locations. That's where the big growth story exists. Next, you have Starbucks. I'm a big believer in the Starbucks brand. I drink Starbucks coffee every single day. It's a premium product. It's easy to launch locations. They have a presence in China. They're expanding across the globe. I think that, Starbucks over time will continue to grow. Next, we have Aritzia. So Aritzia is a Canadian retail brand. They sell high-end women's fashion. It's women's fast fashion, and they're expanding into America. Here in Canada, every time I walk by one of these beautiful stores, there's always a lineup. There's always people in there shopping. I see the price tags. The clothing's beautiful. My wife shops there all the time, and they just recently started to expand into America. So the potential to expand Aritzia across America is still there. I see this this company growing exponentially over the next 5 to 10 years, and I believe that the stock will multiply in a similar fashion as they grow and expand their footing across America. Definitely check it out. So that's ATZ.TO, publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Next, we have Under Armour. So Under Armour is a turnaround story. They had a rough time. The stock got really beat down. They had inventory issues. They had branding issues. They had bad branding deals. They took on some debt. But I do believe that they fixed a lot of their issues. And anytime you go to an Under Armour store today, that place is popping. They got a great selection of both apparel and shoes. And if I look at Under Armour and I even compare it to, say, something like Lululemon, I think that, Under Armour has a lot of different angles in which they can compete with other brands. So from an Athletica standpoint, from an athlete standpoint, I think that they can compete against Lululemon, right? They can compete against Nike. They can carve out some market share in golf. There's a lot of different angles to which the Under Armour brand can dominate as we go into the future. So I think it's a good turnaround stock to be investing with for the long term. Next, we have Uber. So obviously Uber got beat down, and right now it's kind of like sitting at a new high, but in and around $50 a share. And considering we are getting past this pandemic, ride sharing is going to come back, and considering Uber has a footing in the food delivery space, I think it's a good company to have a position in, and also bearing in mind that the company will grow. They are going to get past this pandemic, and they will continue to innovate and expand their footprint from both an autonomous driving and other Uber for everything kind of services. So those are all my individual stock. All the individual stocks that I would recommend doing research on, and then making an informed decision on whether or not it's something that you think would be a good fit for you from an investment standpoint. And then I have some ETFs here for you. So there's a lot of, so when I'm recommending you these ETFs, the reason why I'm putting these ETFs on your radar is because you want to have exposure to growth stories, right? So for me, it's hard to invest in something like Tesla today or something like Square today because the valuation is very high and the stocks are very volatile. But if I can find an ETF that is being managed by someone really smart and knows their way around the market and is investing in innovation, I think that's a safer bet. So I have ARKK. So this is an ETF by ARK Invest, ARKK, and it's heavily weighted towards Tesla and Square, and then a whole bunch of other innovative companies in America and across the world. So we have innovative like technology companies, innovative internet companies, and innovative healthcare companies. Okay, so I think that if you had interest in Tesla and Squares of the world, as I do, but maybe you don't feel comfortable in investing in them individually, something like ARKK would ensure that you at least have exposure to the growth potential that exists with these companies. Okay, and you're just doing it a little bit more of a safer, balanced way. We have OGIG. This is Kevin O'Leary's Internet Giants ETF. And this is going to give you exposure to Amazon. It's going to give you exposure to Alibaba. It's going to give you exposure to Alphabet, Google, and a bunch of other internet-based companies. Again, without going too hard into any one of them and having concerns towards overvaluation or volatility. Okay? There's nothing wrong with investing in some ETFs. I think a mix of both ETFs and individual stocks is your best bet. Next we have XIU, which is the TSX 60, so the top 60 Canadian companies, heavily weighted towards Shopify. So Shopify is pretty much one of the only innovative companies in Canada. I think to some degree it's probably overvalued and to some degree maybe even overestimated. I'm not a big believer in Shopify for e-commerce. As a web developer, I'd rather just build an e-commerce website on WordPress and WooCommerce. But having exposure to Shopify's growth story, in case it does carry through, just putting some money to work in XIU, you're heavily weighted towards Shopify, and then all the other boring companies that exist in Canada, from the banks and utilities and some retailers and whatever other boring stuff Canada's got going on. You can look at XIU. And then the last ETF that I would at least research is VOO, which is an ETF that just tracks the S&P 500. So the top 500 companies in America. VOO is a Vanguard ETF, and you're just basically investing in America. You're basically with the understanding that America is the only country in the world that runs a full-blown capitalistic system and invests in innovation, and you can scale a company in America, and America just knows how to build businesses. And they do it in a way where government involvement is minimized and profits are maximized. So if you Warren Buffett says never bet against America, and he also recommends, if you're just starting out, to invest in the S&P 500 a little bit by bit over time, and you'll do just fine. So VOO, Vanguard ETF, tracks the S&P 500, and ultimately, again, you're just investing in America and assuming that America will continue to grow over time, which I believe that it will. So even if you bought one share in the S&P 500 every month or 2 months, and then you did all these other smaller investments in different companies and other ETFs, each time you invest in the S&P 500, that represents a paycheck into the future that is going to be growing over time. Okay? So I hope this stock list sparks some interest to you towards investing yourself. Perhaps it's going to inspire you to do some research and add to your portfolio. Again, these are just stocks to look at. Do the research. Check it out on Yahoo Finance. If you have access to the Morningstar analysis, do your research with Morningstar. Assess things from your own individual perspective and what your interests are and what you believe in as a person and the products that you believe in as a consumer or a business person, and then make your investment decisions based off that. Again, I'm just trying to share with you guys some stocks that you could look at, some ETFs that you could look at, and hope that you will, to some degree, in some way, shape, or form, continue to take action with your investment career, whether it's getting started or adding more to it and going from there. I think that, actively investing is a critical success factor in life today. So I hope this video finds you well. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Thank you. Peace.